Gangwashi Church is a congregation in the west part of the old city of Beijing that developed from an evangelistic mission begun in 1863 by Joseph Edkins of the London Missionary Society. According to the church's historical timeline, a meeting venue was established in 1864 as part of a hospital project overseen by the medical missionary John Dudgeon, but it was burned down in 1900 during the Boxer Rebellion. A replacement was built in 1903 with donations from the London Missionary Society. The current sanctuary was constructed under the ministerial leadership of Bao Leshan in 1922, the same year the renowned Chinese author Lao She was baptized at the church. According to a 2017 report, the congregation is one of 21 registered Protestant churches or worship venues in Beijing under the oversight of the Beijing Committee of the Three Self-Patriotic Movement of the Protestant Church and the Beijing Christian Council. This map shows the location of the church, indicated by the red cross, in relation to the Forbidden City, which was the imperial palace of the Ming and Qing dynasties, and Zhongnanhai, the headquarters of the Chinese government. The name of the church is Gangwashi, which may be loosely translated as Pottery Market, due to the fact that historically the area was a marketplace for selling various vessels made of clay or other ceramic materials. In fact, Beijing has several areas named after their bygone commercial functions, including places designated for the sale of pearls, lamps, glazed tiles, vegetables, and sheep or goats. I'm probably not the first to recognize the biblical significance of having a church with such a name. In the Old Testament, the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 64, verse 8 says, "Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay. You are the potter. We are all the work of your hand." Indeed, Christians seek spiritual transformation by the guiding hand of God, and at least from a superficial perspective, we can see some of the material changes this congregation has undergone. As you can see, when I visited the church in October 2006, the building was tucked back in a cramped courtyard. In fact, I distinctly recall having some trouble finding it at the time. If my memory serves me correctly, the rooms on either side of the courtyard were offices and classrooms. One served as a bookstore that sold Bibles and other Christian materials authorized for sale, such as this compact version with a black cover and red edges. Those familiar with Protestant churches in China would easily recognize this commonly read edition. Inside the sanctuary, you can see Pastor Du Fengying at the lectern. She was one of the church's official hosts for U.S. President George W. Bush, First Lady Laura Bush, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and evangelist Luis Palau upon their visit in November 2005. Another noteworthy visit was by U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright at the end of June 1998. The central decor is a cross amidst 4 Chinese characters, which are in fact one word, Yi Ma Ne Li, which means Emmanuel. From my observations at many Chinese churches and Christian bookstores, the menorah, like this one centrally displayed on the communion table, is a point of interest among Chinese Christians, as many tend to be fascinated and often spiritually edified by the Jewish roots of Christianity. The house-shaped hymn board next to the stage to the viewer's right lists the reference numbers for the morning songs. This hallmark of traditional churches must have been one of the numerous practical matters transmitted by missionaries to newly established congregations and continued to this day. The red Chinese characters on the blue screen read, Beijing Christian Church, Gangwashi Church. Here, Christian Church, or 基督教, in fact indicates the congregation is Protestant, as opposed to Catholic, or 天主教, which are official government designations used in the administration of the country's religious affairs. The white words below read Sunday Worship, and give the date as October 8, 2006. During the service, the choir led the congregation in singing, "This is my Father's world." The choir also performed a special, the title of which I have translated as Meditate on the Immense Grace of Salvation. When I visited the church again in early May of 2017, I discovered the original cramped courtyard had been expanded, and the black or dark gray tiles and black entrance doors had been replaced with a slightly more traditional looking facade of gray bricks, red doors, and white paint. This architectural trend of ostensibly historical restorations may be seen throughout Beijing, especially in the old city districts, but even in outlying suburban villages. The earlier business-style gold sign was succeeded by a simple, yet appealing, centrally placed calligraphic rendering of the church's name above the entrance. The blue and white canopy had been removed, possibly as part of the government's project to enforce established building codes. The more spacious courtyard provides a nice view of the architecture and probably mitigates overcrowding before and after services. The informative boards in the courtyard show the church schedule for the previous month, an explanation of the Easter holiday and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, along with a simple gospel message, an illustrated guide to the armor of God as presented in the Epistle to the Ephesians chapter 6, the prayer theme for Good Friday, and descriptions of various ministries of the pastors and lay people, such as hospital visits, funerals, baptisms at home or in the hospital for those unable to come to the church building, home visits for communion, and hospital visits for children with congenital heart disease. The menorah I saw as part of the sanctuary decor in 2006 is echoed in the background design of this bulletin board. What I consider the most meaningful addition to the church courtyard is the grapevine motif on the fence and gate, which I assume was chosen with consideration to echo the words of Jesus in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. The renovation of Gangwashi Church's meeting venue is merely an indication of outward change, but the symbolism of the grapevine, menorah, and the name of the church indicates the enduring desire of the faithful in this and seemingly countless other Chinese churches to serve their communities and fulfill their sacred mission.